Hi, I'm Sharon, the owner of Beads and More, located in Woodbury, Connecticut. And let's start beading. Don't worry about the wire coming up, we're going to cut that off later. So now, your crimp is facing up. You want to rotate this 90 degrees, so here you have your crimp. You want to rotate it onto its side, 90 degrees, so that valley is now facing away from you. You're going to align the crimp plier, this time in the front groove. So go ahead and do that, into the front groove. Make sure you're properly aligned. Okay. And now, again, you're going to firmly press down. Now what's going to happen is that divot, you can see, folded onto itself. See? Folded it in half. You're using the back section of your tool. That makes the divot between the two wires, tightens it. You rotate that 90 degrees, use the front section of the tool, and you're folding that divot onto itself so that it's nice and tight. The wire is very secure. And what I like to do, and some of the books will instruct you to do this too, is to take a tapered plier and you can tighten it up just to make sure it's nice and tight. Now that was tight enough, it didn't close it up anymore. It's folded in half now, and that wire is very, very secure. This little 2x2 millimeter crimp will hold together any strand, so it's very tight. So now we're going to go ahead to the other end of the bracelet. We're going to remove our bead stopper. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to string on our crimp bead. Some people do find that quite amazing, that this little teeny bead holds everything in place, but it does when properly crimped. We're going to take the second half of our clasp and we're going to string that on. We're going to go over the clasp, through the crimp bead, and then when you have it through the crimp, you're going to string it through a couple of other beads. And let the wire come up. Very important to remove all the slack from the wire now. So where the wire comes up, we're going to hold on to that wire and we're going to let all the beads fall down to one end. Now you can see where the crimp's positioned at the top of this clasp. If I tug on this wire, it doesn't move, right? This happens a lot and very easy to fix. Just take the crimp that's way up next to the clasp and push it down, wiggle it down, and if you lower it, use your other finger if you have to, then you'll see, look how quickly that took all the slack out. It was very easy for me to pull. Don't fight the wire, don't pull too hard. You can strip the nylon off, just wiggle down the crimp and you should be able to pull that wire no problem. So it's very important that all the slack wire is out of your piece before you crimp your second half. So now you want all the slack out, but you don't want it so tight that your beads buckle. So take your time, make sure your beads are laying nicely next to each other, and then when you're ready, go ahead and crimp your second side. Again, you're going to use the back part of the crimp plier first. Make sure you're nicely aligned, side to side. Make sure that you're fully into the back divot. And when you know you're nicely aligned, one firm squeeze down, then look at the crimp and ensure that you have that nice divot in the middle, like that. And I'm going to show you the second step instead of using the front of the crimp tool with a very narrow tapered plier, because you'll be able to see this maybe a little bit easier. So right now this crimp is facing upward, the divot is facing upward. Rotate it 90 degrees, have it facing away from you. Whether I was using the front of my crimper or a flat nose plier tapered, you want to fold this onto itself. So do you see the position that it's in? So when you squeeze down, you're folding that in half. You'll feel it too. And there's the finished crimp.